Rated M for mature.
Before I start this video, I want to say something. In the previous part of this review, I received some hate because I raised my voice. And you know what I say to that? Deal with it! What's going on, guys? My name's Dark Populous, and I'm bringing you the second part of my review of Elder Scrolls Online's final beta. This part of the review is going to cover the PvP in Cyrodiil. So without any further ado, let's dive straight into it, and I'm going to start out with how the game handles large-scale world PvP. I have never seen a game handle hundreds of players so smoothly on the screen at the same time as well as Elder Scrolls Online does. Now let's compare this to a game such as World of Warcraft, which is renowned for being the most popular MMO of all time. That game can barely handle 60 players on the screen. ZeniMax Online Studios have created a technical achievement with this game. The graphics look very well done, and the fact that there's no lag with large-scale PvP on top of this is basically a 10 out of 10 on its own. I have absolutely nothing negative to say about how this game handles large-scale world PvP. So I'm going to move on to what it's like playing the world PvP in Cyrodiil, and I'm going to start that topic off with the fact that there's no waiting time in between matches. If you die, you just load straight back in and run straight back to the fight. You don't have to wait for groups of players to finish having to go to the toilet or have a cigarette. You just basically die and then run straight back in there. You don't have to wait between battlegrounds like you would in World of Warcraft, and you don't have to wait in between arenas like you would in World of Warcraft. Again, if you die, you just run straight back to the battle. No waiting time whatsoever. Though, something relevant I do have to say about this, which is somewhat negative, and that's the fact that the map is so huge that it takes you forever to get back to the battle, especially if you don't have a mount. And even more frustrating is the fact that if you run all the way back to the battle and you get ganked just as you reach it, that could be absolutely infuriating, but it's amazing for the people who actually do it to you. So I can see quite a lot of players rage quitting because of that. And the advice I would give to people who are in that situation: don't play alone. You can have fun following the massive Zerg that is your faction, but that can get boring after a while. So if you get a group of friends, go around ganking small groups of players, or cutting off reinforcements lines, or using some other tactic to your advantage that involves small groups, you can have an amazing time. Hell, even if you do have those friends, you can still stick with the Zerg if you wish to. Now, if you don't know what I mean by Zerg, I mean the entire faction that you're on will usually stick together as one massive group. And I'm talking about hundreds of players here, not just a group of 10 or 20 people. Hundreds of players will charge from keep to keep at once. So this can make for some pretty impressive battles. Now, this doesn't mean that people are going to mindlessly just charge into each other. There are dedicated groups that will converge and think out strategies. For example, multiple guilds will collaborate with each other to be able to win for their faction. Now, this has happened in games such as Dark Age of Camelot, which is somewhat similar to this game. Seeing as the producers from that game are working on this game, it doesn't really make me surprised. Those strategies can involve choke points and terrain. The terrain actually matters in this game. It's not the fact that, oh, I can just target this player through a wall and then know where he is. You can't see through objects. You can't click on a player to see how much health he has and to see where he is on the map, like in World of Warcraft. Perino, I can click through the wall to see where you are. No, that doesn't happen in this game. Which brings me to the stealth system. Now, I was a bit skeptical about how they were going to implement this, but ZeniMax Online Studios have taken a unique route, which has paid off greatly, seeing as how every other MMO seems to only give the stealth ability to the rogue class, but in ESO, every player gets the ability to stealth. However, the Nightblade, which is the rogue class for this game, does have more advantages when it comes to stealthing, which just feels right, in my opinion. So let's get back to the fact that everyone can stealth. This opens up so many more options when it comes to fighting in PvP. Because let's face it, if a game doesn't allow you to stealth, the only option you really have is to fight the enemy head on. So how do you stealth? Well, you basically just crouch like you would in Skyrim, Oblivion, and Morrowind. When you crouch in those games, an eye symbol will appear in the middle of your screen, and that would symbolize if you were detected or if no one could see you. If the eye was open, it would mean that players could see you. If it was closed, it meant that no one can see you, and it's the same for the Elder Scrolls Online. So how does this look to the player who's looking at you when you go into stealth? You basically just disappear from his screen. Though if you do get close enough, you will reappear. One more thing about the stealth system I want to point out before I move on is the fact that you will gain damage bonuses if you attack while in stealth, just like you would in the other Elder Scrolls games. So what's it like attacking the fortresses and the keeps? Well, obviously the defending team is going to have the advantage. However, there is equipment that will help you gain the advantage if used correctly. And of course I'm talking about the trebuchets or the catapults. You can purchase these by using alliance points, which you earn for killing players, taking objectives, or healing your allies. And there is many other ways you can gain them as well, such as doing quests. You have to be strategic when it comes to placing your siege equipment down, because different types of siege equipment can outrange others. They also have different mechanics that make them counter different types of equipment. For example, a ballista, which is almost like a gigantic bow and arrow type of equipment, fires arrows at double the pace that a catapult or a trebuchet can fire its ammunition. However, the trebuchet or catapult has a longer range than the ballista, so if the ballista is just out of range of the trebuchet will completely destroy that ballista. However, if the ballista is in range, the ballista is going to be able to destroy the catapult because of its rapid fire. So why do you want to use these siege engines in the first place? Well, it does more damage than you can do for start off, and it's the only effective way to take down keep walls. Of course you can use battering rams to take down the doors, but if the defending team knows what they're doing, they can use the keep's walls to their advantage and use boiling pots full of lava and then drain it down onto the people below. So what's it like when a player dies? Well, when you die, you get the option to spawn at a keep or a way shrine. Now, if a keep is under attack, you will not be able to respawn at that keep, which is great because it makes it so that the defensive team doesn't have an overwhelming advantage to the point where you can never take a keep. But can you revive players, you're probably going to be asking? Yes, you can. You can take soul gems and fill them up with souls like you would in Skyrim or Oblivion, and you can use those to revive players. Now, there is one problem I have with this, and that's the fact that you can only revive players with level 50 soul gems. Now, if this gets addressed at the final release, then I'll be happy. However, as it stands, level 10 soul gems that say that they can revive players level 1 to 10 will not be able to revive players at that level. You have to have a level 50 soul gem to be able to revive anyone, even if they're just level 10. Level 10 to 15 soul gems will be the same. You can't use them to revive anyone in Cyrodiil for some reason. You have to use a level 50 soul gem. And I don't understand why. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. But again, I'm sure they'll address this in the final release. Going to take a few steps back here and go back to the alliance points that I said that you could earn while playing Cyrodiil World PvP. Can you only use them to buy siege equipment? No, you can use them to purchase PvP gear. Now this is excellent because it allows you to upgrade your character without ever having to leave Cyrodiil. Now again, when it comes to earning these alliance points, it doesn't take that much effort because you can gain some from killing people, gaining assists from killing people, healing allies and taking objectives. However, that you can also do quests within the Cyrodiil PvP zone. Not only does this help you level up and earn gold, it gives you alliance points. However, I do have a small quarrel with this, and that's the fact that there's only one quest that's really worth doing, and that's the one that tells you to go kill 20 players. The other ones are a bit too awkward, because it requires you to go deep into enemy territory just to talk to some dude. And we all know trying to go in there is going to be a nightmare because you'll get ganked furiously. And the reward for it is very minimal compared to the one that requires you to just kill players. So personally, I don't think they're really worth doing. Now you're probably saying, oh god, not daily quests. Not really daily quests, because you can do them straight away as soon as you've handed it in, and you can do them multiple times over and over again without any limit. So if you ever just get bored of it, you don't have to keep doing it. However, you don't have to wait till the next day to be able to continue doing them if you want to. Coming close to the end of the video here, and I've only got two more things I want to talk about. The first one is, can you level in Cyrodiil PvP? Yes, you can. You can live in Cyrodiil if you want to. You don't have to do PvE at all. However, it will take you a very, very long time to level in Cyrodiil PvP. So in order to get to max level quickly and efficiently, it's probably better to do the PvE side of the game in order to gain more abilities as such, to help you improve your experience in PvP. Of course, this also means that you don't have to be max level to do anything in Cyrodiil. Your character gets scaled to the max level like you would in Star Wars The Old Republic. So, you don't have to be level 50 to be effective. However, being level 50 gives you access to more abilities which do better things. So the advantage of being max level is not completely lost. And now, my second and final point about the world PvP on Elder Scrolls Online, and that's the fact that there are no flying mounts. This makes me extremely happy because the flying mounts on World of Warcraft ruined the world PvP in that game. There is no more world PvP in World of Warcraft, let's face it. The fact that there is no flying mounts allows for a lot more ganking opportunities and a lot more epic moments. Alright guys, that's my review for the PvP on the Elder Scrolls Online. Bear in mind that these thoughts are only for the final beta of the Elder Scrolls Online. Some of these things may change during the final release, so don't hold me to everything that you've heard. Some things may not be the same in the game over time. However, my current impression of this game is a very solid one. I am very excited for this game, and I cannot wait for this game to come out on the 4th of April 2014. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, or you can support me by subscribing to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/darkpopulous. But anyway, guys, again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
This was the day I contracted my first STD.
I died how I lived, choking on cock.